Country Season 1 Episode 16 finally circled back to a storyline the show almost made us forgot existed. And while it's good to see it again, the way it's handled is a bit frustrating. The episode kicks off with energy, throwing us straight into chase through the woods with Mikey, Boone, and the team. The target turns out to be Wes, and just like that, we are pulled back into his storyline. The same one where we choose not to go legit and instead double down on building that illegal grower co op in Deadwater. This arc actually started way back before the winter finale, and honestly, it feels like the show just left it sitting in the background for far too long. The idea itself is strong. After legal growers were attacked while simply trying to pay their taxes, it made sense for them to band together. With no real protection from authorities, forming a co op outside the law uh, felt like survival. But the problem is the show didn't remind us this was still happening. There were no hints, no background development, nothing to keep that tension alive. So when it suddenly becomes important again, it doesn't hit as hard as it should. Because of that, even the internal conflicts within the co-op feels underdeveloped. The tension between Wes and Tanner, for example, is clearly supposed to matter, but without consistent build-up, it just doesn't land. You can tell there's history there, but the show never really lets us feel it. And this isn't the only drop thread making a comeback. The whole situation with homeowners in Deadwater being pressured to sell their land also resurfaces. That storyline was introduced earlier during a murder investigation, but once that case wrapped up, the show housing thread basically disappeared from the narrative. Now it's suddenly relevant again, especially with Dale's situation, but it ends up feeling like it came out of nowhere instead of being an ongoing concern. Then there's Mikey, and this episode doesn't exactly do her any favors. She's supposed to be someone who knows her town inside out, yet here she comes across as oddly narrow in her thinking. When she notices Luna acting differently, spending time with illegal growers, and clearly been worried about them, it should raise serious question. And while Mickey does notice something is off, she doesn't dig deeper like she normally would. What makes it more frustrating is that there's a perfectly logical explanation right there. Luna even admits there's a persistent buyer pressuring landowners. That alone could explain why she's aligning herself with the co-op, safety in numbers, protecting what's hers. But Mickey never fully connects those dots, and that feels out of character. On a more positive note, the episode finally gives Gina something meaningful to do. Up until now, she's mostly been stuck handling small tasks, coffee runs, calls, the kind of work that makes her feel invisible. You can really sense her frustration even if the show didn't build up to it properly. But when she gets her moment during the dinner sting, she delivers. Wearing a wire, thinking quickly on her feet, she manages to keep the operation going even when things could have easily fallen apart. It's a great reminder that she is far more capable than the show usually allows her to be. Hopefully, this is a sign that she will have a bigger role moving forward. Outside of that, a few other threads don't quite hit. Sky's storyline doesn't progress much beyond highlighting issues like nepotism. Wes, in that final moment, probably should have handed himself with more control given his experience, and there's strong sense that the co-op might not stand by him once everything comes to light. There's also a subtle moment between Bonnie and Mickey that hints at something more, but honestly, that's a direction the show doesn't really need to take. Overall, this episode has solid ideas, but it struggles with execution. Bringing back this arc is the right move. They just needed more consistent attention along the way to truly pay off. Thank you for watching. Bye.